When did you realize your parents had never loved you at all?
Growing up, it was clear I wasn't the priority. My parents had a business they built from the ground up, and that was their whole world. I wasn't much more than background noise. Birthdays? They'd toss me some cash and say, get yourself something. But what's a kid really supposed to buy, other than a couple hours of attention that never came? When I turned 18, I asked if I could work part-time for them. I figured maybe it'd be a chance to finally feel like part of the family. They didn't even hesitate. They told me they didn't want me around and just walked off. Not long after, they straight up evicted me, handed me the paperwork like it was nothing. I had to call a friend's dad just to move my stuff. Ended up renting this disgusting little apartment with peeling walls and bed bugs. Found a job at a convenience store, but the manager was a control freak and fired me before I could even settle in. Eventually, I ran out of options and ended up sleeping outside. I hit rock bottom. I called my parents, begged them for help. They ignored me, blocked me, left me for dead. A friend of mine found out I was living in a tent and couldn't stand to see it. She let me crash at her place for a bit and told me to reach out to someone, anyone. I called my grandparents on my dad's side. They were stunned I'd even reached out. When I told them everything, they were furious. Took me in instantly, paid for a flight, brought me to live with them, and even cut my parents out of their will. From there, things got better. I enrolled in community college, earned my degree, and eventually started working full-time. My grandparents decided to retire somewhere warm, and they sold me their house for dirt cheap. I owed them everything, and I never forgot that. Then came late 2020. I came back from a trip, and there it was. A van parked in the driveway with my parents' old business logo plastered on the side. I walked inside, and they were just there, in my guest room. Like nothing was weird about it. I told them to leave. They acted offended, said it used to be their family home, and that they had every right to be there. I called the cops, but without security footage, my parents spun some nonsense about squatters' rights, and it actually stuck. My mom even fake cried like she was on camera, so I filed for a formal eviction. In the meantime, they refused to pay rent. Every month, they'd hand me a single $100 bill like they were doing me a favor. Said I already cost them years of their life and that I should be grateful they weren't asking for that back. Eventually, the court date came. They tried to talk down to me in court, said I was an ungrateful son, tried to use the $100 as proof they had a right to stay. The judge shut that down fast, gave them 30 days to leave. They called me cold, told me I was turning my back on family. I just laughed, told them they threw me out like garbage 10 years ago and never looked back. So why should I? I warned them not to push it, or I'd get law enforcement involved again. That last month was just a countdown. They kept trying to manipulate me, but I was done falling for it. They didn't even bother finding a new place until the very end, because they honestly thought I'd caved. They ended up renting this rundown studio with stained walls and no real furniture, basically what I had to live in after they kicked me out. And yeah, they begged for the bed, the dresser, the TV from the guest room. I told them to take it. I didn't want anything they touched. Once they were out, I stood at the door and changed the locks in front of them. When their van finally pulled away, I didn't feel bad. I felt free.